So BLM's tax returns got released, and I thought we'd have fun. So let's take a look through that at least. And to start off, I'm going to show this video. This is one we did a while ago, which I think you made the point earlier. You said, why the hell are we talking about BLM in Britain? I got to one-up you. BLM in Barbados.
Oh, wow.
90% of the population are black. 100% of the parliament are black. Every leader's black. 100% of the seats were also in the Labour Party. There were 0 seats held by rightists in their parliament.
Interesting.
And yet there was a march in Barbados of a load of people screaming "End white supremacy."
In Barbados?
Yeah.
Wow.
Riddle me that.
Interesting.
So go give that a watch if you got the time.
Okay.
But it's unbelievable how even Barbados has a BLM problem. And moving forward, we will then go to Jabba the Marxist herself here, as she sits around getting away with her $6 million mansion. I don't know if you've seen this footage, so I included it because you definitely should. This was from a video she uploaded to her YouTube channel, in which they sat around and gloated. They got away with it.
Oh, wow.
So a private YouTube channel. And then she's taken it down since because, well, people pointed out.
Okay, no, I haven't seen this.
No, let's play the clip.
I'm so glad to have the both of you here and in person.
Yes.
It's been a really intense year and a half.
That was a nice way to talk about it.
Right. And I look up to the both of you so much. You know, you're big sisters to me, you're movement leaders, you're gangsters.
Portal opened,
Yes.
right? And how the whole community had to rush in
Yeah.
to save D, right?
Yeah.
To save our black future,
Yep.
right? Like that's what was happening, but it wasn't Hippolyta. It's George Floyd's spirit holding it open. Remember, we used to pretend like we weren't, had to pretend like we weren't. Defund the police, because this is a budget issue, right?
Yes. It's
And now
came
we
out.
are talking about abolition. Yeah, we kind of just mean abolition.
I mean, just
Why did they film this?
I don't know. It's the dumbest thing. I think they wanted to show off, or at least Patrice is the one who's her channel. I think they filmed it to show off the wealth. I don't know what other motive they had
This
at
is
all.
so weird.
Like they're sat around sipping champagne, and there was more footage, but we don't have time for it, in which they're just talking about the fact that they got away with it, and openly
They
saying
said the George Floyd spirit thing made me cringe.
it's weird, isn't it? It's just like he died and he opened a portal. For us.
I remember when Nancy Pelosi said that thing, and she was like, "Thank you, George Floyd, for dying for." These people they're so warped. Like, I have a general thing. Like, I don't like talking bad about people in general. Like,
they're literally saying like, yeah, we're deceitful, evil people.
I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? Like, I try to, generally live my life assuming most people have good intentions and that most people are at least decent. But I think maybe that's why stuff like this bothers me so much, when I'm just like, man, like these are bad people. Like, these are not good human beings. Like, it's frustrating. And you've literally capitalized off of unfortunate deaths and tragedies of black people in America to grift hundreds of millions of dollars, raise money for your activists in the Democratic Party to buy mansions, buy stocks, send millions of dollars to your baby father and your brother and your cousin and so on. You've done nothing tangible to help Black Americans or in inner cities or anything else. You're there drinking your champagne, talking about abolishing the police. Like, you want to talk about champagne socialism? This is literally right? Like, you're literally, if
you got your little fancy finger sandwiches.
You saw the thing, and they said they needed to spend over $2 million on security because they can't trust the police. So we spent $2 million on security in 2020.
Whereas the average person, they usually have to rely on the police. So we'll abolish the police. And
of course. Yeah, we'll chill in our $6 million mansion with our private security guards. And we're good. Like, I despise this. Like, this is, oh man, I'm actually kind of biting my tongue a little, because this is so, it's like, this is everything wrong. This is like this
is why I want to show you the footage.
Yeah, this is like every issue people have with this type of performative, disingenuous, this is not leftism. These people call themselves Marxists, right? And it's like you've become a multimillionaire off of capitalizing off of black people's deaths.
Yeah.
You've literally a $6 million mansion. That's not like not even a $1 million, like a $6 million mansion.
Oh, that's just one of them as well.
And the whole thing is, it's just gross, man. It's like, look, if you want to be rich, be a capitalist, start a business, become an entrepreneur, make some money above the board in a decent way by providing a product and a service
Terrible
that you
advice.
want. I'm big on people. I'm big on capitalism. I'm big on entrepreneurship. I have no problem with people making money. But when you literally scam people to make money, you capitalize off something. You say, imagine imagine someone starts a GoFundMe. Right, someone starts a GoFundMe and says, "Oh,
for BLM
it's for
to fight racism."
Yeah,
for
someone says
example.
we're having a GoFundMe to help children with cancer, and our goal is to raise £1 million. And then they raise £1 million, and they take that £1 million, and they go and they start buying Rolex watches for themselves, and they buy themselves a Lamborghini or whatever. Like, that is disgusting. That's despicable.
You joke, but Biden actually did that.
Biden?
Yeah. We did a story, it's ages ago. I don't have the links because I wouldn't think it would come up. But yeah, he ran a charity for kids with cancer, did a bunch of fundraising dinners, raised, I think it was about $10 million. 97% of the money was spent on salaries, and all of the staff were literally his friends.
It's so wild, man.
It's unbelievable. But I also think your advice about making money is terrible advice. If you want to make money, become a Marxist. I'm sorry, but every Marxist we ever talk about on this show, it always turns out to be a millionaire within the week. It's unbelievable how fast this seems to happen. And if we go to the next one here, we also have some other clips I thought would be funny, because Candace Owens decided to release this footage of going to one of the mansions, presumably maybe the $6 million one, maybe another one, who knows, and tried to talk to them back in the day. And Patrice decided to then lie about the whole thing, because of course she did. Let's play this clip.
This morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew. She was demanding that I come outside.
Hello. I was just looking to speak to whoever is at this property because it's listed as the Black Lives Matter property. Sir? Hello?
The fact that she's came outside my house and demanded things, harassed me, is unacceptable.
We're not trying to harass you. We'll gladly leave. We're just wondering if we can speak to anybody.
Y'all, I really need my family to be safe. I need to be safe. I need my child to be safe. And this, what happened this morning is not safety.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, the
No,
tears.
no,
My family
like-
need to be safe.
Yeah.
Just go to one of the other mansions then, if you're so scared of Candace. I don't think Candace is going to harm your kid.
No.
I really don't know. I don't think she gives a about your kid.
Unbelievable. Like, absolute liars. Like, pathological.
Real insane.
Not just
people.
liars, criminals.
Yeah,
This is criminal. Like, I mean, I don't know all the laws of the United States, but I'm pretty sure it's not legal to run a nonprofit and take donations that are supposed to go to a certain place and then just like embezzle them and use them.
They're running
to buy.
expenses.
Like, I'm pretty sure that is not allowed.
I really hope not. But
Because we're not talking small sums of money either.
No.
Does anyone know how much BLM has raised over the years in total?
it was 90 million.
Wasn't that just 2020?
Oh, it's just in 2020. Oh God, over the total.
I think that was just 2020.
20. I don't think the 2021 numbers are even in, and that's going to be another like 100.
I think it's
million or
like
something.
hundreds of millions. I think it's hundreds of millions. I think it's fair to say hundreds of millions,
I think I'm probably right.
right? Where has that gone? Like,
I mean, guess.
I mean, where? This is not this complicated question. If you're running a charity and you raise $100 million, it's a fair question. Where did that money go?
Look, it was a good portal. All right, don't ruin a good thing.
Yeah, like
That's the argument.
that's a lot of money. You should be able to tangibly show what you've done with that. If I say I'm raising £100 million to help orphans or to help the homeless, I should have some receipts. I should be able to show, okay, look, we have helped to house X number of people. This is who they are. This is where they are. This is how the money's spent. Yes, this much went to salaries and expenses and travel, this small percentage. And then this went here, this went there.
Well, that's the thing. We have the tax returns. We have the receipts.
Man.
They're just not really evident on actually helping anyone except themselves.
Yeah.
We go to the next one. This is the $6 million home I was mentioning earlier. This is where they defended it and said, oh, it's a campus. I don't know if you can play this clip here, John, without the audio, just because it's like a real estate movie where they're just like, look at the place. It's got all its pools, and they had parking for like 23 cars or something stupid. This is on top of all the ones she got for herself. Remember, she's got like 5 homes just for herself. This one was in her name as a director of BLM, which is totally different than owning it herself, I'm sure. They raised it so they could use it as a space for videos. They used it all of twice for that purpose in a year. As a real worn-out place being used for its purpose, I'm sure.
It's a nice house.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure her and the kids love it. Anyway, if you want to pause that video just so it doesn't autoplay anything.
Black
But-
Joy Creators Fellowship.
Yeah, it's such obvious BS. But
I mean, they're creating Black Joy just for a very small number of people.
look, I mean, black joy for a very small number of people. Still a lot of joy. I mean, that's what it was about. If we go to the next one, we then have the money she siphoned off to her wife, girlfriend, I'm not even sure. This is in Canada.
I didn't know about this
So
one.
this was another, I think it was, what was this? This was $6.3 million on top of that.
Oh
that
my
she
gosh.
siphoned from the main group off to her wife's group of BLM, which is totally different and not connected to her, even though she's married or pegging the woman. And she spent it on this building here. You want to know the history of this building? It's very curious. Black Lives Matter transferred millions to a Canadian charity run by the wife of its co-founder for to purchase a sprawling mansion that had once been the headquarters of the Communist Party.
Oh.
I love that as well. Just the Communist Party also used to
All
own
right.
this
So,
mansion.
okay, wait. So they got the $6 million in mansion in Los Angeles. They had the
Yep.
$6 million in Toronto, $3.2 million on homes in Georgia on Los Angeles. So that's 4 at least.
So we're counting up those 90 million. We're getting where they're going at least. And
I heard. I read yesterday that they spent $32 million on stocks, buying stocks.
we'll get into that in a bit. But it's
Okay.
just the fact that they, I love how it's like a rightist fan fiction. It's like, did you know that the BLM are buying the Communist Party headquarters in Canada? No one's going to believe this. It's like, no, it's actually
too,
real.
It's too good. It's too good.
It
It's too
sounds
good.
ridiculous. But yeah, there's that.
Very on the nose.
If we go to the next one, this is something I wanted to mention because I saw you tweeting about it, which is that you back in 2020 said you don't support BLM. And then I saw you retweeted
Man, I got
it.
killed for this.
Yeah, I saw you retweeting it, and you said it's funny to go read some of the responses. I didn't get a chance to go through, but I wanted. What's
Yeah.
the funniest one you found looking
Dude,
back?
this wasn't funny. I want people to know how serious this was. Like, I have over 130,000 tweets.
Right.
I've been on Twitter for many years. I'm pretty vocal. And a question I get asked by people is, have you ever had any, like, issues in your personal life from being so outspoken, whatever? The answer is typically no. This, of all my tweets, this one is the exception. This is the one that, forget just people on Twitter, like, this caused a lot of personal strife for me.
In your family? Or,
Yes.
wow.
Family, close friend, like people I genuinely love and care about. And, I don't want to go into it in too much detail
No,
because that's
fair enough,
private.
but
But like this, like me saying I don't support the Black Lives Matter organization. By the way, in the second tweet, I clarify, I think the capital B, capital L, capital M in the quotes is quite clear that I am talking about an organization or a specific movement, not the statement. I clarify that in the second tweet, which follows up, saying specifically I am talking about the organization. To be
In
super
all
duper clear,
caps.
I am talking about the organization, not the statement. Obviously, I am a black guy from a black family. I am very well aware before 2020 that my life matters
I'm
and
not
my
Uncle
parents'
Ruckus,
life
like-
and my family and lots of my friends and so on. But yeah, this was it was nasty. I mean, you can see if you look at the quote tweets and some of the, you can see all kinds of nasty comments aimed at me.
But that's the thing. Like, I remember back. This was very serious. Like,
I was
people-
too early. I was just too early. That's all it was.
But people were just walking on glass, and
Dude.
yeah, I mean, especially I
People
imagine
were so
felt
jacked
that.
up in their emotion. You have to remember this is June 2020. Do you know how jacked up on emotion people were at that point? This is like the lockdowns have been going on for a few months. There's the whole corona panic. George Floyd dies a couple weeks before this, and everyone around, so many people around the world are just like inflamed in this. You've got cities burning, you've got people rioting, protesting, all this BLM stuff is flowing through the world. So for me to put that up at that time, like looking at it in hindsight, people are like, yeah, fair enough. I'm like, dude, you do not know. This was like going completely against the grain at this point. And I knew I was going to get some pushback, but it blew up like completely in my face. I didn't take it down because I stand by this 100%. And I was like, I
Right.
believe what I'm saying.
As you're saying, well, it certainly paid off.
2 years later. Yeah, but it does, like, nobody's apologized. Nobody said, you know what, Zuby, like, I'm sorry for, like, what I said to you. Or I'm sorry that, like, you know, I see what you were getting at.
Well, that's dumb. Hopefully they can see the reality.
Yeah, you know, it would actually, I'm not one of those people who's like, yes, you know, I must be vindicated. By the way, I've been vindicated on all the COVID stuff as well. Because again, my takes on this were not popular in early 2020 when I was saying that this lockdown is a terrible idea and is going to cause lots of long-term damage and is going to be worse than the virus itself. And none of this is making sense and we're overreacting. None of that was popular. But now people are like, oh, maybe we overreacted. Maybe this inflation and mental health issues and childhood development issues. This isn't good. I'm like, oh, if only someone maybe suggested that maybe we shouldn't shut down the world for like years.
Simple things.
Maybe we shouldn't just do all this nonsense. So yeah, I like being right, but both of these two kind of the I told you so doesn't even feel all that great.
No, it never does.
Because I'm just like, man, the damage was done.
But did you get any, like, because you said this is very personal, but did you get anyone who ever at least even said, okay, maybe I was wrong? You see them flip on it?
No, nobody saw my perspective.
Nothing.
The thing is, the thing with 2020 is it was weird because a lot of people didn't know anything about BLM. Right, like a lot of people think BLM started in 2020.
My main knowledge was about the Dallas shooting, frankly.
Yeah, the BLM's been going on for many years.
Yeah.
Right, and I looked into it early. I looked into it like in mid to late 2010s. So like this wasn't some new organization or movement to me.
They got really popular, did their thing, and then Dallas happened, in which a black supremacist shot a bunch of white cops. I think that was actually some Asian.
I mean, that was under Obama. That was in the Obama era.
And then it just disappeared.
Yeah. So it's been going for a while, and I looked into it. I knew it was run by Marxists. I knew that it had it's got this whole like LGBT thing attached to it, which has nothing to do with Black lives. They talk about overthrowing capitalism and abolishing the police, as those women were saying, and they've got the whole like everything is white supremacy mentality, and Black people are victims. They're against the nuclear family. They're very pro-abortion. They're in favor of like a lot of stuff that I'm not in favor of, and that I directly oppose. So despite the fact of the name, I was like, well, this thing is not legit, right?
I mean, yeah,
and
if
I've
you call
known
your
that for
organization,
years.
I love puppies, but then, I don't know, you go out murdering people.
Yeah.
You're not a good guy.
Yeah, none of these conversations would be happening if it were not for the cement. I must say, to give them some credit, it probably is the smartest named entity ever. Because if it was called anything else, we wouldn't even be having these conversations.
No.
If the organization was called Black Marxists of America, BMA, right? And I wrote that tweet and I said, I don't support Black Marxists of America.
You'd be like, duh.
Right?
Like they're a bunch of Marxists.
No backlash, whatever. It's just because they picked the name of a phrase that you cannot disagree with. And a phrase which I do agree with, but it's semantically overloaded. So if you say, I don't support Black Lives Matter, people are like, what? You don't believe Black Lives Matter? You don't support Black people? It's like, dude, don't be freaking stupid, right? You know that, like...
But that's the thing, we had the similar thing in the UK. I mean, there was that kid who wrote, what was it, White Lives Matter? Like, he flew the plane over.
Oh, yeah, and that was
controversial.
controversial.
Just his whole life has been destroyed by that.
Yeah.
Like,
and this shows how dumb our society is at this point, right? Like, look, I have a general rule that if you can say something, I just have like a replacement rule, right? Especially applying to racism, okay? So if you replace the word black or white, whatever, with you just replace it with any other word, okay? And see how it sounds. So if someone says, if someone goes on Twitter and is like, white men are trash, it's like, okay, replace the word white with any other race or ethnicity.
I love doing it with Jews because you end up with literal Hitler quotes.
Yeah, with anything, you can just switch it. And it's like, okay, so Black Lives Matter, someone's saying that's fine. It's like, okay, so Asian lives matter. Are you okay with that? All right, what about white lives matter? And people are like, no, that one's triggering. It's like, why? All right, we're supposed to have this equal society. Right? We're supposed to have the society where it's like, what? So if it's problematic in one way, it should be problematic in any, right? If someone says, if I stand on stage and I put a fist up and I say Black Power, right? And then someone says Asian power, Jewish power, white power. Like it gets kind of so, and people should maybe reflect on that and be like, okay, if it sounds really weird and uncomfortable and even outright racist in some ways, then maybe there's something weird about this here.
You know, there's actually a Google plugin that will do that for you.
Oh, okay, great.
It changes what is it, whiteness to Jewry and like white to Jew on every
good
page.
grief.
But then you install it and you think, it can't be that bad. And then you
Dude.
like go to vox.com.
Horrible.
Oh, wait.
Horrible.
Like
Horrible. Literally like Nazi vibes.
it's like you're reading the Daily Stormer on everything in the left.
Yeah.
And it's
it's terrible. Yeah, people say things like whiteness is violence. We need to abolish whiteness.
whiteness is
It's
a
not-
demonic force that must be destroyed. It was the most recent one I read.
Like again, replacement rule.
Yeah.
Replace that with black people. Replace that with Jewish people. Replace that with Asian people. Replace it with Native American. Any other group, you sound insane and genocidal.
Like Candace
Right.
did it once, didn't she?
So-
like she retweeted someone who said whiteness be destroyed and put it. I think it was black people instead, and she got banned.
I'm not surprised.
And then they had to reinstate it because they were like, "Oh wait,
Yeah, this is the exact point, and that's again, this is why these people get on my nerves so much because it's so frustrating. It's like, look, because I just live by, I have just certain values and principles, and they operate in all directions. Okay, so I think racism is bad. I think it's wrong to, yeah. Look, it's 2020. It's 2022.
that is a divisive opinion."
It's 2022, so just like I need to say that men can't get pregnant, we need
Yeah.
to say some things very explicitly and clearly, right? And when I say that, I mean by the notion that you hate someone or unfairly discriminate against someone or segregate them or enslave them or commit violence against them based on the immutable characteristic of
You're like, yeah. Also,
their
slavery's bad.
ethnicity or their race or their nationality. This is a terrible idea. I don't have a caveat that, but it's okay to do to white people. But if it's done, it's like, no, period. That's
Yeah.
it. Whichever direction it flows in, I don't want someone saying like this about black people. I don't want them saying about white people, Jewish people, Asian people, whatever. And you so-called super woke progressives who claim to be all anti-race, these are the most racist people in the West right now. They're the worst. There are people who mean well. There are within that some people who mean well. I don't know what the percentage is, but
There's certainly not Patrice Colors, that's for sure.
like it's so maddening. I'm just like, you're making everything worse. You're literally moving
Well-
society backwards. We got to this nice, like it's only been a few decades where actually society has been as tolerant and non-racist and non-homophobic and non-sexist and whatever. Like it's only been a few decades that like that's been achieved to like a real, good degree, right? Like you can just go back to like 1950s, 40s, 30s, 20s. Like, yeah, world was pretty nasty back then, right? Like if you were, we wouldn't, if
But also it's not all
80 years ago, we, wouldn't be in this room having
Yeah,
this
yeah.
conversation. Like it would be, like that's not allowed kind of thing, right? It used to be illegal for people to freaking go on dates or get married with people who were from,
in the United States, yeah.
yeah, literally had anti-miscegenation law. Like that's not that long ago. And it's like, it's a great triumph that we've gone past. So let's
No.
not go back to it.
The great
Let's not go
triumph
back.
is making all this damn money. So we'll end this off. We're over time, but let's
Okay.
go to the next one. If we just read some of this, which is the fact that she
Oh,
gave,
man.
as you were referencing, about $1 million for her baby father
Mm-hmm.
for his creative services.
Creative services, I love that.
That's one way of putting it. $800,000 to her brother for security. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's very good at his security. A fellow director got $2.1 million. And also she repaid to the organization $70,000 for a chartered flight. I mean, thank you. She
private
repaid
jets.
for the flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also say in here that the filing also received the Colors reimbursed for the flight and paid the foundation $390. Not $300,000, no, $390 for the use of the private mansions that were $600. So she brought the $600 mansion with the BLM money.
$6 million.
Sorry, $6 million. Sorry. She brought $6 million with the BLM money and then paid the organization 300 buckaroos to be like, thanks for letting me stay in it.
Oh, good.
Oh, wonderful. It's not hers at all. Very generous of her to pay for that, in fact.
Creative accounting.
Real creative accounting. There's also the 70, what was it? I'm trying to remember the number now. Yeah, $32 million in stocks that they brought.
Stocks.
Which,
they bought some Bitcoin.
yeah.
So wild, man.
There's also the fact that she has the whole company registered in Delaware because it's a tax haven in the United States.
Of course.
Amongst the states. There's also the fact that she is the only member on the board for quite some time, which is beautiful. Apparently that's allowed under Delaware law, so fantastic. However, the board members allege that's not true.
$42 million in net assets.
Yeah.
$42
Wonderful
million.
assets. It's a lot more houses, is what she's done there. There's also, I mean, it just goes on and on. We don't even have time for it.
Yeah, look. $90 million received in donations in 2020.
That's it. Just
In 2020. That's a lot of money.
A lot of McDonald's money. But then just the quote from them in response to all of this information coming out. So there's some lady, something gay, which makes me laugh, but whatever. She says, quote, "We are decolonizing philanthropy."
So I'm sure someone's already done this, but if not, someone should just make like a lefty buzz phrase generator.
Yeah.
Where like they just mash these because they just speak in psychobabble now.
It's ridiculous. But she goes on to say, as a board, we have been charged with disrupting traditional standards of what grant making and philanthropy looks like. It means investing in black communities and trusting them with their dollars. But the thing is, like, what she's saying there is we've gotten rid of the checks and balances you would usually put on a loan, and that's decolonizing the philanthropy. It's like, no, you're going to end up putting them in bankruptcy because they can't pay back the loan, presumably, unless she's just handing out money because whatever, which, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised by either. But anyway, if we go to the next link here, we just have Nigel Farage, who is also an individual who is not really smug, but sort of just, I was right, screw you, because I don't know if you know, but he lost his position at LBC because of this.
Oh, was it? It was because of criticizing BLM?
Yeah, he wouldn't go along with it. He was like, no.
You know what? I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the reason.
But that was the reason he didn't get his contract renewed, because the backlash to him being like, how dare he?
I know someone who got oh gosh, what's his name off the top of my head? There was the guy in Manchester. I had him on my podcast. Oh no, I don't want to forget his name. Nick Buckley, who ran this charity in Manchester.
Great guy.
Yeah, and he got pushed out of it because his charity was literally helping
the homeless.
Helping homeless people, including a lot of minority people up in Manchester. And he got pushed out because he was not a fan of BLM.
No, he also did that. But he's not the only one. Nigel Farage also lost it.
Interesting.
We skip on this. If we go to the next one, just remember this crap from the police. Yep.
Oh my gosh,
That's
this was
what
it was so embarrassing. The whole it was terrible. There's that picture of Keir Starmer and that lady as well.
But we don't have time for it, so let's do it to the last one here, which is about the Marxist matter.
Remember Nancy Pelosi and them in the kente cloth?
Yes. But you remember you said earlier about if you want to make money, become a capitalist? Big no.
Okay.
So this is just J-Reg's meme about it, which is like, oh, I'm a humble left-wing YouTuber. Please donate to my Patreon for my one-bedroom apartment. Here we go, the next one, 1 year later. I'm now a libertarian. Except it's not kind of true, to be honest. I feel like if you want to make money...
he's killing it on Patreon, though.
100%.
Bringing $250,000 a year.
But there are people who make that money. Like, there are leftists who make that money, who endlessly whine about socialism. So there you have it. There's BLM's tax returns, and they ain't pretty, that's for sure. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as Academic Agent's new book, The Populist Delusion, and the book club that Harry did on it. And also, if you want to follow what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.